I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahamaland to the foundation.
I want to say good afternoon to everyone out there. Hope you guys are good. Grateful to be in your company. Always grateful to be here on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Welcome. If it's your first time tuning in, welcome to the foundation. This is Howard Grant. My name is Howard Grant. You can also catch me on the rundown on ZNES. We can be able to do that this evening. I didn't go last night. The PLP actually had their launching of their campaign, so I wasn't able to be there last night. I wasn't requested. And most definitely, we're going to be able to have a great conversation with you today about that kind of a launch and being able to identify that. The countdown to election has started. Hope you guys are good out there and being able to identify that. It is a beautiful day. I want you guys to be able to check in with us and see exactly what's what. Hit me up, 827-0111, 827-0111. And we can be able to do a great deal of things out here and have good conversations with you. I am excited about it. All right. If you're seeing me out there and you want to be able to tune into the conversation, please do so. 827-0111, 827-0111. You can give me a direct call or you can be able to hit me up with a text. It's no problem. You can be able to do that. But we're here and we are live and in full effect being able to talk about national issues of concern here in the Bahamas. Now, on these social media platforms, you're all over the world. And so I want to be able to emphasize that a lot of the issues that we're talking about pertain to the Bahamas. So we can continue to be able to do that and talk like this for where we are. We just want to be decent as we do this. We just want to be decent. I got to send this around the globe or around my social media pages so persons can know where we are as we are talking. We're going to go directly into the newspapers today and being able to find exactly what's what. This is the Tribune being able to speak to us about where we are from a national perspective. The countdown to the election has begun. Davis, nobody knows better than I know how much work remains. I agree with him. Nobody knows like I know how much work remains. I agree with him. There's a hell of a lot of work. Hold on now. Let me see. This look like this got a little lag in it. I don't know what's going on. Right? Let's see if we can be able to find out exactly what's what. All right. A sea of yellow filled the Bahama Convention Center last night as hundreds of Progressive Liberal Party supporters gathered for the party's campaign. For what I see, it was thousands, at least about 3,000. It's about 3,000 people. All right, don't undercut the people, amen. Don't undercut the people. What I saw last evening represents, in my view, people inside, outside, all those particular areas, thousands. and we make a determination as to exactly what's what in those areas. Listen, man, this is interesting that we're going to be able to have this kind of a conversation with you as we continue to be able to push forward. Thousands. Let's just read it and see exactly what's what. It says that party campaign launched, transforming the venue into a rally that signaled the countdown to a general election. Although one is not constitutionally required until September. Supporters arrived early, dressed in party shirts, jerseys, and hats, waving oversized placards and sounding horns. The PLP, are you ready now? Campaign banners framed the entrance, whilst bright lights, music, and chants inside the ballroom created a rally atmosphere as supporters frequently stood, cheered, and applauded throughout the program. Attendees ranged from young adults to senior, reflecting a cross-section of party base. And they got all the people in there. Vernell, I can't remember Vernell's last name. Going over to the PLP last night also. Does it amount to a hill of beans, guys? Talk to me about it. Does FNM deflecting, whether at the front line or the back of the organization, what does that reflect in this particular season? Does that amount to a hill of beans? Are we concerned? I listened to Leslie Miller the other night saying that, not necessarily disparaging Karen Shepherd in her particular capacity, but saying that, does it really make a difference? And that's the question I have. Does it really make a difference? That's the question I have. Does it make a difference in these particular season that we're in this time that we're in this country? Does it make a difference? I don't know. I looked at it and I want to be able to oh Lord, Brent Simmons in the papers again today. Oh Lord. This paper is so much. Oh God. There's so much to be able to read. Sometimes you just want to be able to press pause on some stuff. And it just doesn't happen. It's just where we is. It's where we are as a nation. FNM chairman raises concerns over the polling divisions with no voters. I read that letter. Free National Movement chairman, I think they indicated that there were, let's read it. Let's read the letter. Let's read the letter. Let's see if we can read the letter and find out exactly what's what. Let me go on to the FNM's. I think that the official National Guardian should have the information. Let's be able to read it and see exactly what's what. Free National Movement's taken on this kind of a position to talk about it. And I did read the letter to indicate their... Let's pull up the letter. I just read the letter this morning. It's actually talking about more specific about these particular areas that did not have information. All right. They talked about looking at certain polling divisions, and in those polling divisions, it did not have anyone registered in those polling divisions, which was an oversight. The information was released into the public to indicate that this was a complete position that the Registrar General's Department had, but as they looked through it and being able to, what they should have done, let's just be very clear about that, right? Let me see if I can pull it up. Dwayne Sands, Dwayne Sands, right? Which they should have done, right? All right, here we go. This is on Grand Bahama 242 News. Dwayne Sands, chairman of the Free National Movement, new boundary registry flaw deepened concerns over election readiness after reviewing the updated voters list issued after recent boundary changes. The Free National Movement has identified serious new problems that raise fresh concerns about election readiness. These findings add issues previously raised that have yet to be addressed. The Free National Movement has formally written the Parliamentary Registration Department outlining these discrepancies, which are not minor clerical errors, but significant flaws requiring urgent connection. In its review, the Free National Movement found polling divisions with no voters assigned, including Kalani polling division number 3, Southern Shores polling division number 4, and Tall Pines polling division number 4. Kalani, Southern Shores, Tall Pines. Kalani, Southern Shores, Tall Pines. Okay? And then he goes on to talk about this. It is not normal for the polling division to be skipped in this manner. This is what Dwayne Sands wrote yesterday. The party also identified what it appears to be residual or improperly transferred records following the constituency unit transfer process. These issues affect Central and South Eleuthera, Maikau, Northern Eleuthera, Freetown, North Abaco, Tall Pines, and Golden Isles. These discrepancies suggest incomplete or flawed data migration after the boundaries adjustment. Dwayne Sands said some voters who registered or transferred months earlier were missing from the electronic register, and that first-time voters were wrongly turned away despite presenting valid Bahamian passports. Also, registration rules and said that additional irregularities continue to emerge. I want to commend the Free National Movement for being able to be as diligent as possible to identify what they must as we go into a general election. It is important that you have this information. It is crucial that you know exactly where you're going, how you're going to be able to deal with these particular things with a very clear understanding of what needs to be done. Don't fight them. I don't see nothing wrong with this. In fact, I think that this is a level of diligence that we were expecting and we've been eager for from the Free National Movement. This diligence causes the Parliamentary Registration Department with Harrison Thompson, who's already been able to identify in this posture and position. Let's be clear now. Let's be clear about this, all right? Let's be clear. Harrison Thompson has already been identified from a public standpoint of not necessarily being as diligent as possible. He's fortified his position and indicated that everything was done correctly. The former Prime Minister came to the forefront. The former Prime Minister said, I don't care who tell you what they say. We couldn't find 2,500 people in Golden Isles. You could ask the PLP, you could ask the FNM. No one could find these 2,500 people at all. Come to find out, through the AG's office, the information was accurate. Come to find out, through the AG's office, the information was accurate. This is crazy. And so, because of the irregularities that existed in these particular spaces prior to all of this, and Harrison Thompson being able to be steadfast and assured of his particular position, I think that the Free National Movement had to check everything that he checked. And it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's not a bad thing at all. I got to commend them for being able to take on this kind of a position. And I think that this is more of what we want to see from them as they continue to talk like this. It ain't nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with this at all. All this does is put everybody on their P's and their Q's to ensure that they dot their I's and cross their T's in preparation for the general election. This is wonderful news. I cannot fight them. I think it is a wonderful idea, And I must commend them for taking on this posture and position. I got to. I must commend them for doing what they had to do. I got to. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I got to be able to tell you that with clarity and strength. There's nothing wrong with that. So I just want to be able to say that with clarity, with strength, with determination, with this kind of a focus. Congratulations to the Free National Movement. You're getting on your ball. You're getting on your game. You got to do it. You got to do it. Public Blast Simonet's comments over Adriel's killer. Let's just read it. Former Immigration Minister Brent Simonet suggests that it would be inhumane to deport the convicted murderer Chris Ferguson after he serves 40-year sentence for killing a 12-year-old Adriel Moxie, triggered backlash in social media, with many Bahamians rejecting the idea and calling for harsher consequences. I agree with them. Harsher consequences. We should deal with him now. That's a whole different story. So let's talk about these particular things. This is in the paper today. Yesterday, we already had a conversation about this. Yesterday, we've already talked about the fact that we don't understand this. Why would Brent Simonet take on this kind of position to be able to articulate something that he may not even live here for, and a great deal of people ain't even going to be here for? My God, Chris Ferguson may not be here for. I don't think that this should have sparked the conversation about inhumane treatment, about sending potentially a victim who is stateless in a sense, a stateless victim back to where his perceived motherland is, as a result of not being able to be formally registered in the Bahamas and recognized as a Bahamian citizen despite being born here. That's not what the conversation should have sparked. This should have sparked a conversation that had to do with this sort of an idea that says, okay, what we need to do is learn how to kill people. I mean, come on, man, not in a bad way. What we need to do is learn how to be able to rectify our own issues without being able to grovel at the feet of those persons at the Privy Council. Yeah. What we need to do is find a liberated state in position of being able to get true independence in our country. That's what it should have sparked. What we need to do is identify what is the worst of the worst for us. That's what this should have sparked. This shouldn't spark a kind of conversation that's, you think they should send the guy back even though his mother and father is Haitians and he was born here. And, what the hell are you talking about? We're talking about the wrong thing. This guy is no longer seeking citizenship. He has already taken on an occupation and taken on a particular position. He is a murderer. He's not identified as a humane person. He is a murderer. He is a killer, a rapist, a murderer, a pedophile. Let's do away with this dude, man. What are we doing? What are we doing with these conversations? What are we doing? Where do we expect this to go? Talk to me. What do you expect to get out of this? This guy is a killer. And it don't matter where we send him. We could send him to damn El Salvador. In fact, we should send him to El Salvador. What are we doing? Why are we wasting time to have a conversation about these particular concepts and ideas that has nothing to do with whether or not we're going to be able to move with strength and determination into the future? What are we doing? I just want to know that. I just want to know that. I don't think Brent Simonet should have said anything to that. That's just me. I don't think Brent Simonet should have been able to contribute at all to that. He should not have been able to put his mouth on that. I mean, this is his mouth. He could do what he pleased. But I'm just saying, in his political posture, understanding what is at risk, if I was him, I wouldn't say this. I wouldn't say this. I just wouldn't say this. It didn't help anything. We can't be so desperate to be able to be seen in this day and time, unwilling to say anything on matters of national sensitivity. I just thought it was a peculiar thing to say. It was a peculiar thing to say. All the best to him. All right. Video appears to show that a St. John's College principal with hands around a girl's neck. Did you see that video? Did you see how the principal touched the girl and then his hand slid right under her neck and lifted her up to push her out the door? What are you doing, sir? What are you doing? Why did we do that? Why did he do that? Video appears to show that. It says a video appearing on to show a principal on St. John's College grabbing a student, a girl, by the neck at school, which was an event at the school. It was triggered on an investigation into the Anglican Central Education Authority. The footage shows that a man identified as the school principal, a former deputy commissioner of police, Quinn McCartney, holding a girl's arm as she leaves a room before placing both hands around her neck. Jesus God Almighty. And pushing her through the door. Bystanders reacting shocked, with one person heard asking, "Why he choking the girl?" I saw the video. Other clips from the same night show that a uniformed police officer carrying a rifle, a group of apparent minors running outside while screaming, and boys fighting, grabbing shirts, and jump kicking each other. I saw that. I did see that. In a statement on Monday, the ACEA, Anglican Church Education Association, I suppose. Let me see. Anglican Central Education Authority. Okay. Said that the incident occurred on February 14th during a dance held as part of the school's annual Mardi Gras celebration. I never understood this, I never understood this in Anglicans. I never understood this, I never understood the standard that you raise was slowly incorporating yourself into the world's activities. I never understood this. I've been an Anglican all my life as a child. We had more disco when I was in Anglican. Oh, Jesus, let's just be very clear. We had more disco in the parish hall, more wine and rum drinking and cigar smoking and bingo and gambling and this and that and the next thing. And I never understood this. I didn't understand, especially after I started to read and understand the Word of God a little later. This concept and idea of being able to come out from among them, to be in the world but not necessarily of the world, I just didn't understand this relentless incorporation to ensure that you accommodate the people's desire, the fleshly desire in these spaces. I never understood that. Why are you having a Mardi Gras situation if you is Christian? This is supposed to be a Christian school, eh? It's only go back to what people say, oh, I'm not a Christian, I'm an Anglican. Oh, I'm not a Christian, I'm a Catholic. I mean, I just don't understand this. A Mardi Gras? You know what they do to Mardi Gras? Do you know what they do to Mardi Gras? Did y'all have beads? What did the young ladies do to get the beads? I can't get away, man. Hello? What are y'all doing? Is it relentless pursuit of money that you would do anything? Is there no standard for these particular things? I never understood that. I've been an Anglican. I come from Anglicans. I went to St. Stephen's Anglican Church. I was an altar boy. We stole more wine in the back of the church, drinking a little wine and having a little piece of bread and this and that. I never understood this. I never understood this. I never understood, and you know, Father, and that's what's done with me. I saw his Father Knowles' his wife. I hadn't seen her in years, right? Father Knowles did an excellent job when he came there. Father Cox was there first, and I was there. And Father Knowles, he came in and he was sanctified. He was nothing like any Anglican priest I've ever seen. Father knows. He was nothing like them. For years, I've been going to the Anglican Church, and I couldn't understand why they wear this sort of a shawl. They had this like a shawl on, but Father Knows used to have it as a cross across him like this, right? And he would, tuck it in, and he explained everything. This is crossing myself out and allowing Christ to be able to be at the forefront. Father Knows was an excellent priest. He teach me so much. He teach me about holiness and being able to consecrate, separate yourself from what was going on in these particular areas. Father Knows held up a significant standard. But that ain't his church. He's a part of a group and a body. And as a result of that, people do as they please. I never understood this, though. Anyway, let's get back into this conversation. It says the authorities said that they are gathering to review the available information with relevant stakeholders in line with the established procedures, and that the matter would be handled with seriousness and due diligence. According to the school's Facebook account, Mr. McCartney joined St. John's in 2024 after moving from St. Anne's College yesterday. Human rights advocate Alicia Wallace criticized what she described as violence used as discipline. School administration and faculty must be held at a higher standard, expected to build relationship with students and to assure them of support, fairness, and safety. This is what she said, Alicia, right? There are school administration and faculty must be held to a higher standard, expected to build relationships. I'm sorry, I got a call. Oh, Jesus God Almighty, this guy keep calling. Why is he not reading his text? Anthony, I'm on air. I could call you back. I could call you back, Anthony. I see. I send you 3 texts. I can call you back after. Okay, thank you. No problem. He called back 3 times. I don't understand why he did that. Anyway, let's get back into it. Relevant stakeholders in line to the established procedures. Let's talk about these particular things. Now, the conflict is a nonviolent. They are to face challenges and intervene in conflict in non-violent ways, as she's saying about the teachers, seeking to resolve the issue and to facilitate repair. Use the violent escalate situation destroys that, right? Now, I like Alicia in theory, right? Theoretically, she has a great approach to being able to rectify or how these particular issues should be rectified. Theoretically, she has a good approach. Her approach is weaved from an environment that doesn't belong to us. Yeah. Her approach, every single time I read her approach, it takes on the likeness, the appearance, the character and personality of an environment that is foreign to the Bahamas. Every time. I did not say that she is incorrect. But theoretically, it is accepted of what should happen. Actually, practically, literally, what exists in these particular spaces is a conditioning that on both sides, on the recipient side and on those persons who is invoking who is executing the act. these persons endure and suffer for some issues that they haven't rectified and been able to deal with. That is not their issue. That's not their fault. Quinn McCartney, with the conditioning that he's had from being in the part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and the young girl, based upon her exposure in an environment that is obviously enriched in whatever. It's hard for you to be able to have this kind of a conversation when you recognize that our environment and the traditions that exist in this country still exist. There are people that still suffer PTSD. There are people that still suffer that still endure a great deal of things. How do we now just being able to reject what we've gone through as children in the maturing and the developing minds of ourselves, the things that we've clung to for all of our lives? How do we now reject this and start theoretically saying this is what should happen? I hear what you're saying from a theoretical standpoint, but that does not happen. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. When I get mad, I don't think to count to 10. Never. I never got the conditioning to tell me when you get mad, count to 10. I don't think to count to 10. You know how much time I read that? You know how much time I read people say when you get angry, there are some steps that you should take. I never do those steps. I don't know how to do those steps. Nobody teach me how to do those steps. I don't even get the proper conditioning to be able to move the former anger out and be able to replace it with these constructive concepts and ideas to take those steps to change. I just don't understand these things. Everybody wants to be able to live in a perfect world and forget that we all suffered trauma in this country, in life. I don't understand this. I don't understand what you expect from us. I don't understand this. And I sit here and I want to be able to be clear. This ain't never being able to bash and badger anyone. But I just don't understand the theoretical concepts and ideas of being able to speak socially just for the purposes of relevance. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. No, he should not have choked the little girl. No. He should not have choked the little girl. He could have grabbed up on her arm. He could have been able to you know what I'm saying? There are some other things that he could have done. He did not have to choke the little girl. I agree. Choking, you should not have choked the little girl. But as I look at these things and people seek to be able to offer remedy and offer an idea of transformation, an opportunity for growth and development, a consideration for another path, this consideration is not a part of us. There's nowhere that we can go to absorb this information. The best that we can do is give a space to Alicia and other persons who speak like this, to give a space to them so other persons can be able to hear it and hope to God that something be able to hold on. But it doesn't happen. It's an unrealistic concept. Brent Simmons coming out in the newspaper to be able to say from his vantage point, his position, which is a privileged position all of his life. All of his life. All of his entire life. From his vantage point and his position, he's saying to the Bahamian people, it's inhumane to do this to him. To this man who is not a Bahamian citizen. He wishes to be able to inform us about what is humane or not from his particular vantage point, and he doesn't have to endure this. You and me got to work for him. He don't got to live around you. Talk to me. Let's be clear. He ain't got to there's an elevation that exists here. You get to live around you. Theoretically, you could be able to put any conjecture into the social into the atmosphere. You could put anything into the kind of the social chit-chat box and have those kind of conversations. But the truth of the matter is that what are you saying to us? What are you saying to us? That humanity was not being able to vet these people properly before you've been able to give them citizenship in the country, even though it has not gone through the proper process that he is a citizen. We're not satisfied with that. You'd already made him a citizen. This only goes back to being able to make Donald Trump correct in his particular capacity. When Donald Trump said that we come from S-hole countries and mess-hole countries, and this is what it appears to be. We got to be able to find a happy medium. We got to be able to find a space between the traditions and the conditions of what we come from and the concepts and ideas for a progressive a movement and a stronger society. We got to be able to do that. Theoretically, you just can't just throw things like baloney on the wall and expect that to be able to hold. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I don't know what happened when he was over at St. Anne's, why he moved in 2004 to come to St. John's. I don't know. There could have been a retirement. There could have been, I don't know. I don't know why why do we play like this in our society? There's a relationship that Quinn McCartney has with these particular people, with the Board of Education for the Anglican Board of Education. They're a tight-knit people, tight-knit. They afford opportunities to their people, first and foremost. We too casual with these things, with an expectation that there's a standard that all of us live to, and the standard don't exist in our society. It does not exist here. We have not operated on this standard. Wherever standards exist has been rejected for the traditions that exist in our society. There's no standards in this country. None. None. No one operates on standards in this country. Stop lying to yourself. No one operates on standards in this country. Every time I try to walk through the front door to get something done, they shut me down. Every time I try to walk through the front door in this country, they shut me down. Every front door. They shut me down. The only thing that you could find progression and growth in this society and an ability to be able to move and get to your objective is through relationships. You got to know people to get things done. You got to know, listen, your information will be on the table forever. See, I different than my daddy. I might as well tell you. I different than my daddy. I love my daddy, but I different than him. I ain't that type of fellow. My daddy got patience like Job. He got patience. He can wait and he can endure and he can say, okay, all right. I ain't into that. I ain't got that kind of time. I young. I got things to do. But I want to go to the French Riviera and I want to go sit in the gondola and all that. I don't need to be 85 and drop and sleep on the thing. I want to do this young. But I don't have that kind of access to funds that I don't have that. So I don't have the time to wait. I got to get these things now. I got to get these now. Okay? My father, for his house, when he was building his house, he put the blueprint and the drawing on the people's desk. And they say, boss, this can take, 6 months? No, I didn't have to take 6 months. The standard was it takes 6 months, but everybody else get it done in a couple of weeks or whatever the case may be because they give a little tip. My daddy refused to tip the man. He refused to tip the man. He said, I ain't tipping nobody to do their job. This is what my daddy said. He said, I ain't tipping nobody to do their job. This is what he says. He tell me the story all his life. All my life, when I was growing up, he tell me the story. He say, these people, they should know how to do their job, and this and that. He tell me all of these things. I listen to him, I hear him. But when I get on these streets, trust me, I just pay for expedience. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. I don't even see it how people see it. I tell you, I come from customer service. I understand some things. I make thousands and thousands of dollars doing things for people that I was doing anyhow. And as a result of them being able to give something to me, something triggers in my subconscious that I always got to look out for these people. Always. All right, hold on now. This man just gave me $100 for checking him in? What the hell is going on? Hold on. Two things I want to happen here. The first thing, I don't want this man to say I gave Howard $100 to do something and he didn't do it. Because he didn't have to give me the $100. So subconsciously, I put myself in a position where I always check on the people who check for me. Amen. Let's be very clear. That's what I do this for. You all don't have no idea. I got guests who come to me, who come into the Bahamas. They come to the Bahamas every 3 months. And as a result of that, they come and look for me. They call me from the States. They say, hey, Howard, what's up? I say, hey, man, how your kids, how the babies, how this, how that, everything good? It's good to hear from you, man. What's going on? I hear you guys you snowed out the other day. Just a conversation. Yeah, Howard, we're going to be coming down on this particular day. I say, all right, no problem. I got the suite available for you, 365. No reservations department, no nothing. I accommodated these people. That's it. When they get down, I ready to have them checked in. Their room cleaned from the day before. I didn't block out. This is customer service, guys. This is what service is in this country. You all see this as, oh, these people want bribe. This ain't no bribe. Ain't nobody asked me to do this. And I ain't doing this for no money. But they've taken care of me. And I ain't no fool. I know who take care of me. I can take care of them. Just like that. How you can change that environment in this country? How? How, from a theoretical standpoint, you could be able to stand up here and articulate to the country who tourism is the number one industry in this country for the past 50-some years. The only thing that we've lived and survived off, the stories that exist in this particular place is how persons would have traveled around the world. And oh my God, manners and respect is take you around the world. You don't need to learn how to read and write. None of these. This is what exists in the history of our country. And when they get into these particular positions, they're trying to do the same thing of the stories and relive and revive those stories that their fathers and forefathers would have told them. Boy, I used to work at a hotel. This is what I used to do. That's how I built this house. Now, you're coming with a theoretical concept and says that people have to do their job. We agree with you. We agree with you. But we're not going to be able to stop doing what has been done and what is known in this country just to be able to accommodate and to satisfy your desire and your theoretical need to being able to see things done in your mind's eye the right way. I understand what you're saying. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. But things are different in this country. And if we don't incrementally take steps towards rectifying this issue, and showing that we're serious, there's nothing going to change. Let's shoot straight with it now. Somebody shoot straight with me. There is nothing going to change. Sweetheart and culture is not going to change. There's also a culture of relationships in this country. Not everybody don't do it, but there is a rule of thumb associated with this country. And that's why STD is climbing. And that's why single mothers are continuing to expand. And that's why lousiness continue to run through the country, because theoretically the concept and idea of how you engage in relationships, and the first time you get a little slice, talk to me, let's be decent now, we're adults, let's talk. Let's talk. The second time, you protected yourself the first time. Oh, I don't know this woman. The second time, same person, same thing. You protected yourself. You may protect yourself the second time. But the third time, you got a familiarity and this sort of an idea that exists in these particular spaces. And then that produces something else beyond the soul tides. That produces something else. If we don't replace those bad habits and traditions that we've endured and travel through in this country, we will never get to where we were called to be. Not like this. Not like this. We will never get to where we were called to be in this country. Not like this. Not like this. Let's shoot straight and have a very clear conversation. I just want to be able to say this to you. As I look at this and I identify these things, I'm not sure if we understand some things, man. Quinn McCartney shouldn't choke the girl. I agree with you 100%, but he choked the girl. He did. The girl shouldn't have been acting rude or whatever the hell she was doing that caused him to be able to try to escort her out of a place for her unruly posture. It's blame on both sides. He's the adult. He should have known what he should have done. I agree with you. But I'm not going to sit here and pontificate about what should have happened blow by blow, step by step, to be able to align with a theoretical concept of somebody who's made this in a cul-de-sac someplace in Arkansas. You need to stop. That doesn't exist here. It doesn't exist here. And stop trying to gentrify our minds. Yeah, we could make modifications to these particular things, but we do have a principled understanding of the importance of discipline in our society. And if we continue to be able to eradicate and push that concept and idea of the need for discipline out, then this is what we would get. We will get rebellion. Without an ability to be able to rectify, we will get rebellion. That's what we will go. We're going to get that. I don't know whether or not Quinn McCartney should be fired or rejected by the board. I don't know if that's what's going to happen here. I don't think it should happen. I think he should offer an apology. I think he should be a transparent apology. He could do it on ZNS. He could do it at any of these particular places. Let him do a public apology and let persons know that this is a safe space for you to be able to send your kids. I want to apologize to that. I want to apologize to the family. I want to apologize to these particular things. Let them sign some sort of agreement that they won't sue. I don't know. Just figure out a way to be able to rectify this issue and allow them to be able to go forward. He will never do this again. But we do need stern figures, authority figures, that's going to be able to assure that we could be able to have an environment for growth and development. I just want to be very clear with you and decent. I won't be decent with you as I say this. There needs to be more that's done in this country. This is a casual thing that we're doing, man. And everyone is lending their 2 cents to what needs to be done, and there's no contribution for growth and development. Come on, man. Come on. Everybody giving me some sort of idea of how the white people do it. Everybody. Well, technically, this is how these guys do it when I was off to school. I've been to boarding school, and listen, bro, we grow up here in 8 Mile Rock amongst lions and tigers and bears, thieves and wolves and animals. Ain't nobody never teach them nothing. The only thing we've ever been taught is to go find a job, to work. That's it. Stop it. You all don't understand that the conditioning is make us who the men and women we are. The exposure to an environment makes us men and women that we are. Our response to a great deal of things in this life is based upon the teaching and the exposure that we've had when we were younger. Listen to me. I hate getting angry. I swear to God, I hate it. I just get angry. I just get so mad. I hate that. I've been running from anger forever. And I can be honest with you. I can tell you this. I've been running from arguments and anger and fighting from before I leave 8 Mile Rock. I ran from it. I ran from anger, arguments, and fighting. I've been running from it my whole life. I've been running from it. Everyone who I believe is going to provoke me to anger, to wrath, I leave them alone. I leave them alone. I can only take so much of people. I don't want to get angry and things. I just leave you alone. I don't want to get angry. And ain't it like I turn to a werewolf or something and I want to get angry. Ain't like I can fight like that. I mean, sometimes I do fight. But I don't want to get angry. I've been dealing with anger for a long, long time. And I don't know where it come from. I don't know whether or not it was the cut behind I used to get when I was a child. And sometimes it's unwarranted. In my mind, even in retrospect, as I look back on it, sometimes it was unwarranted because I have my own 2 children, or my own 4 children now. Right? But I have grown to be angry. And I hate being angry. I hate it. I hate it. I hate that this is the legacy that I've endured. I hate that this is the inheritance that I've absorbed from my family. I hate it. Because every one of us have the same traits, the same anger traits, the same argumentative traits. And that's what I've learned in my environment in 8 Mile Rock. Nobody would talk like that. Nobody would say, oh my God, we can't say that like that. Well, what the hell am I going to say? I've learned to be rambunctious, defiant. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, depending on the situation. But in every situation, I apply the same thing. And I have been trying to fix that forever. I have been trying. I'm so disappointed in myself sometimes. I'm so disappointed. In my prayer time, I ask for forgiveness. Father, I pray that you forgive me for sinning against you in thought, word, and in deed, and anything I've left undone. That's something I learned from the Anglican Church. But I think about this. What have I done there, God, to offend you? And I think about my life as a child. I think about my commitment to Christ. I think about the path that I've taken. I think about some of the stuff that I've done or didn't do, or should have done, or should not have done. And I realize that if I was a judge, I would condemn me to death. Yeah. I think any of us, if we're going to be honest, if you keep calling yourself good, then okay, call yourself good. No man call himself good. I am no good. I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity and relentlessly pursued a taste of pleasure in every pocket. Everywhere I could be able to go and get a little pleasure for me, I get in that. This is a conditioning that I've learned. This is not mine. I was born as a blank slate. That's it. But there was a DNA that they troubled and attached a memory to. And it's troubled. They tell me stories about my grandfather, my great-granduncle and all these things and the violence that ensued. And they tell it in such a celebratory manner. They say these stories in such a way that, wow, this one and that one was this boy, he used to slap him down now. And this was like, people would be, they celebrate this sort of stuff. They celebrate this. This equated to manhood. This assertion of anger and your posture and your position, this kind of a lack of tolerance and lack of patience, really. It gave you this sort of a equal footing to what they assume and identify to be a man. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be angry. I want to focus on what God has called me to do. I want to focus on the things of tomorrow. Yeah, the Word of God tells us don't focus on tomorrow. Let's deal with today. But I still want to leave an inheritance for my children and my children's children, and I don't think that inheritance should be anger. I don't think it should be rowing. I don't think it should be indifference. I don't think it should be fighting. And if it's going to be that, Let's be angry at our enemy. Yeah. Let's row and being able to stand steadfast in the word of God, which is our conviction, and row against those things that are contrary. Yeah. If we can fight, let's fight for our faith. Let's fight in faith to the purpose that God has called us to. I have been running from what was pushed in me, stuffed in me. As a child, I did not ask for this. And every time I seek to go back to where I've come from, this thing revisits me. How do I fix that? How do I fix that? How do I fix this? How? Theoretical concepts and ideas about what happens in another man's environment has nothing to do with me. I've already passed the threshold, the 7-year-old point. This thing is embedded deep in me. How do I detach myself from this? How? This is what we face in our society, whether you want to believe it or have a conversation with me about it or not. That doesn't make a difference to me. You are facing the same issues that I am facing. All of us stuck on this rock together. And those who voluntarily decide to come here in this particular space, they ain't stuck. This is paradise to them. For a great deal of us, we stuck. We got ideas that we can't get out. We got hopes in our heart to be able to reach something, and our finances saying something different. This is a position of being stuck. Stuck. I just don't want to have this conversation with you about what is right from a theoretical standpoint and a concept and idea that doesn't belong to us. It doesn't belong to us. And no one in our society is seeking to remedy the issue of the tribulation, the PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder, the post-traumatic childhood disorder, the exposure that we would have had as children. And you think that you're not affected by it, but you go into school and you're learning with your impressionable mind as a child. You learn in the trauma that others have endured. You learn in these things. It can't just bippity boppity boo with a casual conversation and change. It doesn't happen like that. Governments need to be able to ensure that they create a space that children know how to have discourse and conversation about this. People don't even know how to talk in our society. People don't even know how to engage with each other. If you start having a conversation, and this is why a lot of y'all pastors is getting problems, you know. You start having a conversation with a young girl who has been abused. She's now 17 years old. Her body full right out. But she's broken. She's broken. You hear me? She is broken. Her heart is broken. Her spirit is broken. She is broken. She's sitting in the front of you, and all your eyes seeing is flesh. But faith don't come by seeing, it come by hearing. And you can't hear this girl's heart is broken. So when she starts to tell you, because she don't know how to filter her tribulation, she don't know how to filter that her cousin was forcing her to have sexual, to do things sexually with her from she was 13 years old. She don't know how to say this to you. So she just say it. And she sometimes, because she don't understand, she feel like this is a safe space because she's never been in this kind of a room before with a man who can be able to be as transparent that she could be transparent with. So she starts to tell you this. And she starts to tell you of how she would have been having sex with an older man who is her cousin, her uncle, or whoever, from she was 13 years old, she's now 17 years old. Years and years of having sex has been able to be to show up in her body as maturity. Her brain is not matured. Her actions show you that she's still an immature person. But her body is the body of a full-grown woman. And she starts to tell you this. And this is why all this get in trouble. Because you don't even know how to be able to minister to her. You start to get aroused. You start to get excited. You start to figure out, all right, and your subconscious kicks in that, okay, this is what it is. And now you perpetuate the same stereotypes and the anger, the issues, the trauma that she suffered. Now she's now out here and being able to be identified as a whore. Because she may have come to you for help, or you could have helped her, but you decided to take advantage of her. This is what we're dealing with in our society. And there's nowhere that we can be able to go to rectify these issues. And there's nowhere. Everyone finds a way traditionally in this country to be able to hide an issue. You can't hide from Jesus Christ. You can't hide from your faith. You can't hide from the Lamb's Book of Life. You can't hide. You can't hide. You cannot hide. There's something that I learned when I first got married. I feel like when I got married right away, like, gals is cutting up with me right away. Now before that, I couldn't get no gals to cut up with me. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't even cut up with me. But when I say cut up with me, like approach me. Yeah, because you could say something to a woman and she respond, and then, based upon your response, okay, we in a good position. But before I got married, I couldn't get no kind of conversation, nothing. But as soon as I get married, it seemed like, the floodgates open. And I realized that this was a spiritual thing. I realized that the women that approached me, that were flirtatious with me, that, that really liked me, well, that had lust in their eyes. Let's just be very clear. It wasn't as a result of me, that I'm so handsome and, all these things. It was that I was married now and I had a covenant with my wife. And these people, for such a long time, have been covenant breakers that they've become incubus and succubus in their spirits. They're taking on a mantle, an idea, and a mission of being able to eradicate relationships. That's what they've done. They take on the posture of being able to eradicate a relationship. That's what they've done. That's what they've done. That's it. They've taken on this spirit. They've had sex with someone who was married before. They've taken on this spirit. And as a result of the spirit that they've taken on, they're now attracted to, and they don't even know that these people are married, but then there is no secrets in the spirit. And so from a spiritual standpoint, you could identify who has a bond, who doesn't have a bond. And they seek to eradicate that bond. They seek to make you a liar to God the Father. This is what we're dealing with in this country. Y'all don't tell nobody this. Y'all don't teach nobody this. You perpetuate a culture of sweethearting. You don't even want to talk about the negative implications associated with why you shouldn't mess with married women. You don't even talk about the negative implications associated and spiritual implications of why you shouldn't mess with a married man. There's no courses in school that teach that. Religious studies don't teach that. But socially, there's a conversation that says, sweethearting is how the Bahamas get expanded. If it wasn't for sweethearting, a great deal of people we see around here wouldn't be here. You perpetuate relentlessly a level of stupidity that you expect to become standard in our society, and then you externally look elsewhere to how they fix those particular issues in other parts of the world and other societies, and you seek to be able to bring that here. What are you doing? That's not for us. That's not for us. It's just not for us. I hear what Alicia Wallace said. I hear, and I can't fight her. I hear what she said. But there got to be a better solution, a solution that's actually reflective of the conditions and the environment that we grew up in. We didn't grow up in no soft-talking environment. I never grew up in no soft-talking environment. If I piss my mother off, I got a duck. She didn't throw something at me. Talk to me. Let's just be very clear about it. That's the environment that I come from, and in many of us that we endure these things. I'd say all of us, maybe you ain't come from that. Oh, my father has never touched me. All right, then, praise God. Oh, I've never gotten a spanking in my life. Okay, praise God. That didn't make you no better. You're still right here with us. Oh, my mother has never. That didn't make you no better. You're right here as you're right on the side of me in Burger King as a cashier. That didn't make you no better. That didn't do nothing for you. I don't understand. This is a part of our society. You're probably rude now and don't know the necessary being able to accept the authority that exists in these particular spaces. Hey, listen, we can argue this either way. But it's very important that we understand the culture that we're dealing with. It's very important that we understand the people that we're dealing with before we start to step out of the realm of being able to say what should be done, what should not be done, how these particular things can be done. Let's talk about it, guys. I want to thank you so much for being able to be here with us today. I want to thank you for being able to jam with us and talk about those things. I just want to be able to be very, very clear with this. There's a lot of things happening out here. I feel like a lot of persons are just using their mouths because they can and not giving consideration to the environment that they're from and the position that they hold. That's just me. Just me. I'm talking about politically. I'm talking about socially. I'm talking about the authoritative position in terms of principles and leaders. From a leadership standpoint, I think a lot of persons are using their mouths and taking action because they've conceived something in their heads. They're not going based upon no principle. It's like people telling me, I feel like the FNM going to win 41 seats. Where did you get this feeling from? How did you arrive at this emotion? What calculations did you use to be able to arrive at this particular juncture? Well, me and Motley win 30 seats. But what the hell does that got to do with us? And shouldn't that go in the PLP's favor? If they're the government of the day? We can't allow emotions to take us away. We got to be stronger, guys. And have a very clear objective and understanding about what needs to happen as we continue to move towards the things that God has called us to. Let us be clear. Let's be clear. We can cut it down early today. I want to thank you guys so much for being able to tune in with us. Have a beautiful day out there. We'll see you again tomorrow. Guys, check me out tonight. I'm going to be on The Rundown on ZNS this evening. The Rundown, as we continue to be able to jam with you and do what we must. The TikTok, I'm out. I am gone. And guys, I'm going to see you again. Let me see if I can be able to do this thing here.
I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahama land to the foundation.